Hi guys, welcome to my brand new channel. So this channel, I really want to talk about basically my diagnosis and what I'm going through and my lifestyle changes now that I've been unofficially and about to be officially diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is basically an autoimmune condition. I'm going to read you the definition of multiple sclerosis. So multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune condition. And this is from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, which says multiple sclerosis is an unpredictable disease of the central nervous system that disrupts the flow of information within the brain and between the brain and body. Scientists believe that it's a combination of environmental and genetic factors that contribute, and the progress, severity, and specific symptoms of MS in any one person cannot yet be predicted. Most people are diagnosed between ages 20 and 50, although it does vary, as I've seen so far. That's like the basic just information of what MS is. So basically, a little bit about my story and why I've decided to make this channel. So I was unofficially diagnosed with MS not very long ago at all. I actually woke up one day, the entire right side of my body was numb to the touch. I could still move it and I could still feel, but like if I went, like this and tried to touch, it was numb to the touch. Like I couldn't feel cold and it felt like I was touching through like a piece of paper. So it wasn't super severe, but it was entirely like, it was like a straight line across my body, where the entire right side of my body was just numb. So I woke up feeling that way, and I kind of brushed it off at first because I really just figured I pulled something in my sleep or, stretched a muscle or, something like that. I didn't really think too much of it. I did. It kind of stressed me out because it was an important day, but I was like, I attributed it to either stress and anxiety or just that I pulled a muscle or, I didn't really think too much into it at first. So I went along my morning and I was studying for this test that I had to take, and it just wouldn't go away. And I started getting a little bit more nervous. So I took a shower and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm just nervous. Maybe it's just anxiety. So I hopped in the shower and I noticed in the shower that it was getting worse. Instead of just being a little bit numb, like it was kind of painful, and the water, like the way the water felt, it was horrible. It was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life. And it was at that point when I noticed that like literally it was literally a straight line. Like if, this side of my forehead and my face was numb to the touch all the way down, like this arm, this, side of my stomach, this leg, everywhere all the way down was just numb to the touch. So I called my mom and I was like, I think I might need to go to the emergency room. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just numb. The entire right side of my body's numb, and my brain's kind of foggy, and I just don't feel right. Something's weird. Something's messed up. So she was like, well, don't go to the emergency room unless you have to. Obviously, it's expensive. If you really feel like you need to go to an urgent care. So I did. I went to a local urgent care, and he did the basic tests and was like, we're going to check your blood. He made sure that like I could still, I had like, I could, push up when he pulled down, and, like the muscle was still there, and like I could still move, right? And I had the muscle capabilities. And he did some blood tests, and he's like, well, just take it easy. For the next few days, just take it easy. Hopefully it'll go away and everything's fine, and hopefully it's not a big deal. So that's what I did. I went home. I didn't take my test. I just went home and kind of laid down and tried not to think about it. And he called me a few days later, and he said that nothing was found in the blood tests that, they didn't find anything, nothing seemed off, but nothing was really striking in the blood tests. So he suggested I get an MRI, just to make sure that everything was okay, and that I didn't, nothing was out of the norm. And at this point, I think I don't think I was numb anymore at this point. I'm pretty sure it went away after like a week, and I was like, I pinched a nerve, I pinched, something. I slept on my back weird, or my neck, or whatever. I was like, I'm fine. Because I had, in the past, I've gone to the doctor the past few years in the hospital a couple times for random pains, random like dizzy spells, things that I attributed to anxiety or just not eating right. And nobody, like anytime I went to the hospital or urgent care or wherever the case may be, they always told me that I was fine. They either said I was just anxious and it was anxiety. They said that maybe I just wasn't eating right. All of my problems got blown off as not being anything. So when this happened, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they're not going to find anything. I'm fine. So I got an MRI, and a few days later, I got a call from my doctor while I was at work saying that he got the results back from the MRI. And so when you have multiple sclerosis, you get lesions on the brain and the spine. And basically, you see these in an MRI as kind of like little white spots. So my MRI was, in his words, consistent with multiple sclerosis. So I didn't really at this point know what multiple sclerosis was. I just knew it was bad. And he told me that obviously he doesn't know for sure, but that's what, the MRI looks like, and to be prepared for multiple sclerosis diagnosis. So I was at work when I got this call, and he said, do some research, kind of look into it, make sure I've got questions and stuff for when I do go see a specialist, keep a notebook of my thoughts and concerns and questions. And he said, look into it, but don't look into it too much because it can be really scary. And me, being who I am as a person, I literally immediately, as soon as I got back to my desk at work, I was Googling multiple sclerosis. I was Googling what it was, what's going to happen to me, what's my future going to be like, am I dying, like what's happening? And that was probably the worst thing I possibly could have done because it was so scary. But it's so terrifying. Looking at all these stories and hearing about people who end up in wheelchairs or not being able to see or speak or, do anything in their life anymore. I basically did this, only way worse, at my desk. I started crying, and I should not have looked into it at that point in time. I should have waited until I got home. Because, when you're 25 years old and you're in the prime of your life, or what's supposed to be the prime of your life, and then you're told, like, no, this isn't going to last very much longer. Basically, you're told that the rest of your life is going to be hospital rooms and, hoping that you're able to wake up the next day and be able to walk or speak or see or move your limbs. It's some of the worst news that you can really hear. Obviously, there's things out there that's worse, but it's up there because there's no cure for multiple sclerosis. There's no fix-all. You're going to be fine if you take this medicine. Like, there's none of that out there. There are medications that help. There's also medications that can hurt. Um, Multiple sclerosis is different for everybody. There's different stages, which I'll do a video about that later. When I find out what I have, like what progression I have. But everybody's different. Everybody's experience with MS is different. And it makes it so hard and it's so frustrating when you're trying to learn about it and know which way to go forward when every single person's experience with this disease is different. Okay, I promise this channel is not supposed to be a sad channel. I just get a little emotional when I talk about like that day, because that was a really hard day and a hard week and a hard month for me, and obviously it can still be hard, but that initial week was probably the worst. So anyway, with all that being said, like talking about how I got diagnosed, the reason why I created this channel is for, well, a lot of reasons. One, I want to educate people about what MS is, because honestly, like I didn't have hardly any clue except for knowing that it was bad. And a lot of people don't know. And a lot of people like me, like go through their lives going to the hospital and having problems and not knowing what's wrong and not even having like a clue and just brushing it off as being anxiety, or brushing it off as, oh, I'm eating something and it's messing up my stomach and causing me pain. And some of it is that, yeah, but it's not all of it. And there's an underlying reason, why I was feeling all of those things that I didn't know. And every single doctor that I went to told me that I was either just anxious or like I was just living the lifestyle that you're living is not great, so that's why you're in pain. And it wasn't, and it hasn't been for years. There's a brain fog, fatigue, problems with my digestion, all of these things and all this pain that I've been experiencing for years was MS. And I just didn't know, and nobody cared. So one of the reasons for this channel is to like spread awareness like that. Like maybe, somebody runs across this channel when they're looking up, why they feel stomach pain or why they're so fatigued or why they're feeling brain fog, and they run across this channel and see the videos and they're like, hey, maybe I should look into this a little bit more. And then also a goal of this channel is just to be an informative but safe and fun space for people who have this disease. I want to share fun videos about how I'm still living my life, as my body changes and as I learn how to navigate my life with this. So while this video is a little bit more boring and sad, and that's not what all of the videos are going to be about. Like I want to share, I had to change my diet a lot, like a lot. So talk about my diet, my workout and lifestyle, like activity changes, to talk about like my doctor's visits, to talk about, I also want to talk about what I was feeling before I was actually diagnosed, and days in the life, food vlogs, and, vlogs about me and my fiance and how we are still thriving even though I have this problem. Obviously I'm going to go through a lot of changes as I progress through this disease, and just talk about that. And I want to be a light for people who are struggling and going through a hard time adjusting to life with this disease. As I said, like everybody's different. I choose to take a more natural approach to this problem of mine, this new lifestyle of mine. I would like to stay off medication if I can. Obviously, if I need to get on it, I will. But everybody's different. Some people prefer medication. Some people prefer the more natural ways of controlling the symptoms of this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't want to do that, but I want to tell you what is working for me. What's working for me? What isn't working for me? What am I still doing? What am I doing to try to put off the inevitable for as long as possible? Because that's all we're trying to do. Anybody who has MS or an autoimmune disorder, or, anything health problem related, we're trying to put off the inevitable for as long as we can by changing whatever we need to change. So that's what I want this channel to be about, is to just go through, like title of the channel, just navigating my life with multiple sclerosis and the things that I learned along the way. And I would love to be just a light for people who are also struggling, and a source of help potentially for people who are also struggling, and raise awareness and just figure this thing out, man. Because that's all we're trying to do. Nobody really understands multiple sclerosis. Even people who research it don't fully understand multiple sclerosis. It is just an enigma, and we're all just learning as we go about what works and what doesn't work and what's best for us. And that's all I can do. It's not going to be all like this boring, I promise. So if you have multiple sclerosis, if you know somebody or have a loved one who has multiple sclerosis, or want to learn more about it, or are just interested in kind of seeing my life as I learn how to deal with this condition, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll be sure to give you guys as much uplifting videos as possible versus the sad one like today where I was crying. And ideally more fun videos than today. So that's the goal. So as we say in the MS community, keep smiling. Until next time, bye guys.